Hey there, BJJ fans, it's Coach Roy. So situation came up where a student at my academy got a hold of me and said, hey, Coach, gonna have to take some time off. I injured my knee, and in this particular case, it wasn't a knee injury from training. It was actually a knee injury that plagued the student, I think, prior to them starting Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but then was aggravated through Jiu Jitsu, and they're getting an MRI, they're seeing a doctor, they may be up for some surgery. And the student said something that was really jarring to me, and I thought that it was vitally important for me to make a video on this. And I know there's a lot of videos out there, but every coach has their own way of explaining things. And I happen to be a licensed paramedic, and so I always look at injuries different as well. So I thought I'd share this and take it for what it's worth. I hope it helps. So today I'm 54 years old. I've been doing Jiu Jitsu for 15 years. I have definitely had my share of injuries, nagging injuries, probably overuse injuries, and I still have those nagging injuries. There are days where I get on my knees to go into guard, and I've got to work on opening those knee capsules up and stretching those quad muscles. Regular deep tissue rolling and myofascial release has been like pretty much a daily thing for me for years now. And sometimes those injuries are pretty bad, and those injuries get in the way of my training, and they get in the way of coaching. I remember one of the last ones that I had was I hurt my neck, actually. And I've actually got some stenosis that's moderately bad in my cervical spine, which is a calcification narrowing of those openings where the nerve bundles go through. And then that's compounded with the fact that some of those vertebral discs are losing some of their sponginess, and so they're shrinking a little bit. And that compresses down a little bit too and creates even more problems. And from time to time, I can get some nerve involvement, weakness, numbness, tingling in my fingers. And I have to be really careful about people getting under my neck, putting me in headlocks. I just have to be very careful, and it's actually helped my training, which is kind of where I want to go with this. My goal in helping do this video is to encourage you that if you are passionate about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and the Jiu Jitsu lifestyle, and you are committed to training regularly, and you either had an injury and it flared up, or you're getting injured from time to time in Jiu Jitsu, which is probably going to happen, how does one navigate that and not let it put them behind? And many times it happens at the worst time. You're feeling good, you're starting to make some progress in your jiu-jitsu, and then suddenly you get injured and you're out for a while. So what I want to talk about is how to navigate that. And it's pretty doggone simple. Obviously, if the injury is severe enough, you got to go get help and see if you can get it repaired and rehabilitated so that you don't lose out on a lifetime of good activity and health and training and wellness. But many times they're not surgical injuries. They're just aggravated injuries that take time to heal. I would encourage every student to pretend as though that injured part of their body is no longer usable. And the way I look at that is, if I were involved in a street fight and somebody were to break my left arm and they were trying to kill me, I would have to somehow fight through that broken left arm and still try to survive that fight. So if I have a left elbow injury, I try to pretend as though I don't have that left elbow. If I've got a knee injury, I try not to use that leg. If I've got an ankle injury, the same thing. Finger injury, the same thing. Hand injury, the same thing. Neck problems, my rule is I cannot allow anybody to get the underhook under my head and neck or to apply any pressure on my neck that's going to cause aggravation, which is a good practice anyways, because we shouldn't be letting people control our heads. And what I found is in pretending as though the injured part is no longer usable, it forces me then to use only the things that I have available and to become creative and to navigate in a different way my jiu-jitsu leverage, balance, timing, technique, and apply those principles of smart fighting arts versus just trying to use a healthy, athletic, fit, strong physicality. It keeps me on the mats. It keeps me engaged. I would say that if you stop training because of an injury, your likelihood after about 3 to 4 weeks of no training of dropping jiu-jitsu altogether goes up immensely. There are so many reasons why we can give excuses to not train. Injury is probably one of the most legitimate feeling ones, and it's actually not. Injuries, in my opinion, can sometimes help us learn jiu-jitsu in such a different way. But even more importantly, injuries and overcoming and navigating those injuries and staying on the mats and practicing jiu-jitsu is applicable to how we navigate things that get in the way of life. Problems that pop up financially, emotionally, psychologically, familially, socially, spiritually. It doesn't really matter what the cause is. They can disable us as well. And so I think, staying in the game, using what you have, adapting your game and overcoming it and focusing on how I can use my weakness to bring about a strength is another part of your jiu-jitsu journey, and definitely a part of your jiu-jitsu mastery. So I hope this is encouraging and I hope this helps. Stay on the mats, stay well, and I'll talk to you soon.